Flex! Welcome back to my first video, and this is gonna be the last time I rebrand. I swear of my new channel. Well, not my new channel. Well, the rebranding of my old channel Rex Nexus. Today we're gonna be talking about an upcoming Kamen Rider show, and this is Kamen Rider Revice. Next week, like literally next week of today, there will be the first episode. I think it's called Family, a Contract, The Devil Whispers. So let's talk about Kamen Rider Revice's plot. So we have two main writers. Well, a main writer and a half ish. You have Kamen Rider Revi in Ikirashi, and Vice and his partner, or his devil, or his Akuma, as the Japanese call it, Vice. So Vice is like this. It's you know, if you've seen Deno, he's basically Momotaro's, but I haven't seen Deno yet, but I know what Momotaros is. He's basically Momotaros, kind of, but dinosaur. And they're both based off of like T-Rexes, ish, and I kind of like the dynamic between the two of them. If you haven't seen the last Kamen Rider Saber episode, the special chapter, a new page is born, or a new page is opened. Kamen Rider, we got to see some of Kamen Rider Kamen Rider Revi and Vice. Vice is dynamic. Vice being the one that heads straight into battle with no plan and is the weak one, apparently, and Iki being the cool headed and calm one. So we have a little something like a Seto and a Kiryu. I mean, no, a Seto and a Banjo little dynamic going on. One's the smart guy, the other is the genius. So how it works that Iki made a deal with the devil in order made it the deal with his devil, which is with Vice, or like literally making a deal with the devil. And this is funny because if you haven't seen, because on the first episode of Double, Philip asked his Shotaro, said, "Would you like to take a ride with the devil?" And yet we have a Kamen Rider literally taking a ride with the devil. Yeah, that's something. A little reference there, and so Iki uses the Vice stamps to transform with Vice, and the stamp. You know how stamps are used, like confirm deals and stuff. Since Iki is making a deal with his devil, he's using the stamps to use them. I think the stamps are neat little gimmicks. Like you press the top of them and it says like Rex or like Megalodon, stuff like that. I'm actually planning to get a Revice driver, maybe. I don't know if I feel like it. And I actually kind of like the main form. Because when we first saw Revi and Vice on the superhero Seki poster, for some reason, Revi was in his Iki was in his rider form, but Vice wasn't. I don't know if you noticed, but when they transformed together. I thought, oh, probably because there's some gimmick that makes them transform together. But no matter what, he transforms, Vice transforms with them always, I guess. I don't know if he has a say or choice in that. So, yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about, and the other characters. So, George Kazuri is kind of like the inventor of the Revice driver. And in their universe, Kamen Rider is like a TV show, I think. Because when we first saw him in Saber, he had like a 01 in a Saber band. Like 01 in a Saber like little plushie thing connected to his coat. And what I found would be funny is like in like a Saber in the Saber crossover, Saber is just fighting and then George goes up like, "Oh, you are Kamen Rider Saber? I'm such a big fan," and like stuff like that. That would kind of be like a fun little thing. And Phoenix is the people who made the Revice driver, which is actually like this new technology, but somehow gets corrupted by the Dead Man's. More on that later. And Iki works at a hot spa, so we went to well, we went to a coffee shop to wherever Zeo's took place, from a computer from a cyborg company, from a bookstore all the way to a hot spring, or a hot spot, or I don't know, a bathhouse. I think, yeah. And fun fact, Iki's catchphrase is what I think I heard from a translation is I'm boiled ready. I think something like that. Something around like it's like I'm ready and I'm boiled and ready. I don't know. I'm boiling and ready. I think is what it was, which is either a reference to one, the fact that he works at a bathhouse, which is, bathhouse, water, boiling, hot spots. I don't know, something like that, or a hot spring, and or the fact that his partner Vice is a devil coming from the literal boiling depths of hell. That's also a good candidate for what that stands for, and or what that means. I don't know, something like that. Speaking of which, let's talk about the dead mans now. So there are three dead mans. We have Agarita, I think is what you call it. Olateka, I think. I might be. I'm sorry for my mispronunciations. I don't know. I think that's how you say it. I'm just not. I'm hungry. I'm not ready for this. And Julio. So Olateka is like the monster maker, your Kaijin of the series. But their boss is a girl. We have Julio and Oteka's monster forms already seen, just not Agarita's, which I think has something to do with her her innocent appearance or something. Cause like in the trailer, when they were introducing themselves, Julie, like, Agarila was all calm and like cutesy, and Gleto was just there, calm. Well, Julie's like, "Hey, we're the dead mans. We're gonna kill you." Yeah, uh, yeah. Something. I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate to his reaction. Julia's like the alpha male of the group, I guess. The alpha male of the dead mans. And the way they make their monsters is something a bit like the Megalodon. So the devils that reside in all of us, well, in everyone in the Kamen Rider universe, Revice universe, they use those stamps to amplify the devil's, what do you call it? Like the devil's presence on them, and their devil takes over their entire body. But George, he gets those devils after Revi and Vice beat them. He purified he purified he purified the devils into a Vice stamp, the one that they used to transform. In the Saber thing, they destroyed the Bada Dead Man, or the Grasshopper, I don't know, whatever one you want to call it. And after he did, George took that essence and became the Bata Vice stamp. And I'm gonna go more over those forms later. Speaking of that, what else is there? Oh yes, there's also a Spider Deadman. So we might get a spider form for Kamen Rider Revice. Speaking of that, let's talk about the forms now. So their main form is obviously a T-Rex form. I'm pretty sure this is going to be like the first dinosaur-based Kamen Rider anniversary. This is the first dinosaur-based anniversary season. This is the first anniversary season that has animals as motifs in general. And this is the first Kamen Rider season that has dinosaur motifs in general, which is pretty cool. And they're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider. And there's lots of 50s scattered throughout Kamen Rider Revice. I might do a video on that. And and then their another form is based off of Decade. Decade, which is the Megalodon form. Okay, I'm gonna just say it now. These forms have no apparent idea on what animal they are. They're animals based off of their appearance. Yes. So for Decade, they did a Megalodon, and somehow that fits. I don't know. But next after that, well, on top of that, our forms are decade is represented by a megalodon. Devil is represented by an eagle, which also somehow works. Deno is by a mamosu, or a mammoth, and that also somehow works. While Fies is being represented by a pterodactyl. I'll talk about Fies later. And speaking of Fies, also Forze's a gorilla. Kuga's a lion. Wait, what? How? Why is Kuga a lion? Kuga's based off of a stag beetle. Dude is stag beetle. I don't know if they're just trying to be unpredictable or just really stupid. I don't know what went through the Kamen Rider Revice. I don't know, I guess. I just don't know why they chose a lion but not a stag beetle. And for X8, for some reason, a jackal. And for Zeo, a brontosaurus. I can kind of see that. Seeing how, like, you know, the little watch wristband things on him? Like, probably you can extend his head out into a brontosaurus for the remix. Speaking of which, so remixes are kind of like these, this thing where, like, Rice and Revi fuse together to make the animal their form is, right, they're using is based off of. The remixes we've seen so far is Rex, the Rex remix, the Rex remix, the Pterodon remix. No, not the Pterodon remix. The Megalodon remix, and the what do you call it? What's the name again? The Eagle remix. Yeah, that just got released recently on the September scans, which got leaked somehow. And speaking of scans, we also, I don't know how, but the Forze Gorilla thing, I'm gonna put it up on screen right now. I don't know if this is real or not, so don't take my word for it. I just see this form floating around in the abyss we call the internet. Just don't take my word. Just don't take my word for it. I just saw this gorilla Forze form. Speaking of which, the Revice driver, it looks kind of neat. Like, so the little, you know those little doodle pads you can do when, like, if you move this knob, the entire thing erases? So that's kind of like how the thing you put the stamp on works. Because, like, you press the top of the stamp and it goes like, Rex! And then, like, you hit it down on the plate. And then the standby music are like, come on, Rex! Come on, Rex! And then you put it on the driver and then twist it. It says body up. Oink, showing, Kamen Rider. Revice. Also, for the final form, I don't know. At least some form or an extra final form. Don't know what they did. Because of what they did with Saber, you never know what they could do now. I don't know, but what if they call it Revice? What even will the final form be? I don't know. With the stuff we got from Revice so far, it really is just an entire thing itself. You never know what they could do with Revice. Like, literally, on the superhero Seki poster, they got us all going, thinking that there would be the secondary rider would also be in that movie. But nope, it was something species of its own. So I don't know, man. Stuff is weird. And then we got that Vice thing. Yeah, everyone was so confused about Revice. And at least we have some clarification, a bit, at least a tiny scratch. And their weapons, and for the pterodactyl form, so what happens is that instead of a normal rider machine, they have Vice, the devil dude, turns into a hover bike. No, it's not CGI either. An actual hover bike. Like, literally. Real life hover bike. For the Pterodon form. Which is based off of Fies. No. What? Why a Pterodon for Fies? Huh? I'll say the form looks good. It does. But still, why? Why a Pterodon? or pterodactyl. Don't know. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just gonna call it a pterodon. And is that it for Kamen Rider Revice? I don't really think it is. Now I'm gonna just put out these predictions. So I'm just gonna call it now. I'm just gonna call it now, I guess. Because the first episode seems pretty intense, and I will be giving out a review on that when that comes, which is next week Sunday. And if you don't want to miss out on me reviewing that, you better hit that subscribe button and the bell, because you don't want to miss any other one of my Toku Kamen Rider videos, don't you? That's what I thought, buddy boy. And let's see, what other stuff is there to talk about? Is that it? I don't really know if that's it. Let's also talk about their other equipment. So for another one of their equipment, they have like this axe thing that can also turn into a gun. I don't know why, but why are all dinosaur forms in Kamen Rider have an axe that can turn into a gun for a weapon? Like, you serious? As if Puto Tira didn't already do that like 10 years ago. I think it did, actually. Yeah, and it has its own stamp attached to it. Its own little stamp thing already attached to it, I guess. I don't know. Revice, really, anything can happen so far. I just want to see more writers. What's your opinions about Revice? I would love to know them, and I only can if you put them in the comments down below. Share it with your friends if you think this is good, and if you think it's cringe, hey, share it with your friends still to make them to laugh at me being cringy, I guess. I don't know. Well, whatever you think of this video, you think about it. I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe if you like. And have a good rest of your day. Toku Rex or
欧影双面老灵高应，Kamen Rider，Revice。